Imagine standing at the edge of a new beginning. Your heart races, your palms sweat, and the path ahead feels like a leap into the unknown. Maybe it's a dream God has placed in your heart, a relationship He's calling you to mend, or a purpose you've been too afraid to pursue. That first step feels impossible, yet a gentle whisper echoes in your soul. Let's go. This is where faith begins, where courage rises, and where trusting God transforms fear into action. The Bible gives us a powerful example in Joshua, who faced a daunting task after Moses' death. He was to lead the Israelites into the promised land, a land of giants, fortified cities, and uncharted challenges. Fear could have paralyzed him, but God's voice broke through in Joshua 1 verses 9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Why it matters, God's command to Joshua wasn't just about bravery, it was about trust. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the choice to move forward because God is with you. Joshua didn't have a detailed plan or a guarantee of success, but he had God's promise. I will be with you. That same promise holds true for you today. Whether you're stepping into a new career, confronting a personal struggle, or answering a call to serve, God is asking for your trust, not your perfection. Think about what that first step means for you. Maybe it's saying yes to a calling you've been avoiding, or taking a risk to follow a God-given dream. The world may tell you to stay safe, to wait for clarity, but God says, be strong and courageous. He's not asking you to have all the answers. He's asking you to trust the one who does. What's your promised land? What's the first step God is calling you to take? Feel the fear, but don't let it stop you. God is with you just as He was with Joshua. Let's go. Take that bold step today, trusting His presence to guide you. Spend a moment in prayer, asking God to reveal the step He wants you to take. Write it down and commit to acting on it this week, trusting His promise to be with you. You've taken the first step, heart pounding with courage, but now the path stretches into the unknown. Doubts creep in, whispering questions about what lies ahead. Trusting God isn't about sitting still, waiting for clarity. It's an active, living choice to move forward, leaning on His promises even when you can't see the destination. It's saying, let's go, not because you know the way, but because you know the one who does. The Bible gives us a vivid example in Abraham, who heard God's call to leave his home, his security, and everything familiar for a land he'd never seen. Hebrews 11 verses 8 captures this moment. By faith, Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to a place that he was to receive as an inheritance in Canaan. And he went out, not knowing where he was going. Abraham's trust was active. He didn't just believe God. He obeyed, stepping into the unknown with no map, no backup plan, just God's voice. That's the power of active trust. It moves you forward when logic says stay, when fear says turn back. Maybe God's calling you to start a ministry, rebuild a broken relationship, or chase a dream that feels too big. Like Abraham, you may not know where the road leads, but you can trust the one leading you. Active trust means choosing God's promises over your uncertainties. It's packing your bags like Abraham and walking toward a future only God can see. It's not blind faith. It's faith anchored in the character of a God who never fails. What would it look like for you to trust Him actively today? Maybe it's making that phone call, writing that first chapter, or saying yes to His call, even when the details are fuzzy. What's holding you back from fully trusting God? Is it the fear of the unknown or the comfort of the familiar? Let Abraham's obedience inspire you. God's promises are your compass. Let's go, moving forward with active trust, one faithful step at a time. Identify one area where you need to actively trust God. Write down a specific action you can take this week to obey His call and pray for the strength to follow through. You're on the journey, stepping out in faith, but a storm of doubt swirls in your mind. What if I fail? What if I'm not enough? What if God doesn't come through? These are what ifs you're like chains, threatening to anchor you in place when God is calling you to move forward. Trusting God means facing those fears head on and choosing His truth over the noise. It's saying, let's go. Not because you've silenced every doubt, but because you trust the one who calms the storm. The Bible offers a powerful antidote in Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. This verse is a lifeline when doubts overwhelm. Trusting God with all your heart means letting go of your need to figure everything out. It's surrendering the what-ifs eaten to him and believing he'll guide you. Look at Peter, who stepped out of the boat to walk on water toward Jesus in Matthew 14, verses 29 to 31. When his eyes were fixed on Christ, he walked on the impossible. But when he focused on the wind and waves, his what-ifs, he began to sink. The moment he cried out, Jesus lifted him up. Your doubts don't disqualify you. They're an invitation to cling to Jesus. Their what-ifs are real, but God's promises are stronger. Maybe you're afraid of failing in a new venture, losing someone's approval, or stepping into a calling that feels too big. Too big. God doesn't promise a storm-free journey, but he promises to make your path straight when you trust him. Silencing the what-ifs to you starts with fixing your eyes on Jesus, the one who holds your future. Name one what-if that's holding you back today. Lay it at God's feet in prayer and choose to trust his plan over your fears. Let's go, keeping our eyes on Jesus, who turns the impossible into reality. Write down one what-if that's been paralyzing you. Then, beside it, write out Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6 as a reminder of God's promise. Pray for the courage to trust him fully this week. You've taken bold steps, trusted God's call, and pushed past the paralyzing what-ifs. But now the journey feels like a marathon. Your legs are heavy, your heart is weary, and the road ahead seems endless. Maybe you're chasing a dream that feels out of reach, enduring a season of loss, or trudging through a trial that tests your resolve. In these moments, trusting God isn't just about starting strong. It's about finding the strength to keep going. It's standing firm and declaring, "Let's go," knowing that God's power will lift you when you feel like you can't take another step. The Bible offers a breathtaking promise in Isaiah 40 verses 31. The Bible says, "But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." This verse is a lifeline for the exhausted soul. Waiting on God doesn't mean sitting idly. It's an active, expectant trust, like an eagle poised to catch the wind's updraft. Eagles don't flap frantically. They spread their wings and let the wind carry them to soaring heights. Similarly, when you trust God, he renews your strength not through your own effort, but through his divine power. This promise isn't just poetic, it's practical. It means you can face the long days, the sleepless nights, and the uphill battles with a strength that surpasses your own. Think of David facing Goliath. He was a young shepherd armed with only a sling and stones, facing a giant who terrified Israel's army. Yet David didn't rely on his own might. He trusted in the Lord's strength, declaring, "If the battle is the Lord's." His victory wasn't about physical power. It was about God's power working through him. Or consider Paul, who endured shipwrecks, imprisonment, and persecution, yet wrote in Philippians 4 verses 13, "I can do all this through him who gives me strength." God's strength sustained them, and it will sustain you. What does this look like in your life? Maybe you're a single parent juggling endless responsibilities, feeling like you're running on empty. Perhaps you're pursuing a calling, starting a ministry, writing a book, or rebuilding a relationship, and the setbacks are piling up. Or maybe you're walking through grief, and each step feels heavier than the last. God's promise in Isaiah 40:31 is for you. When you wait on him, trust in him, and lean into his strength, he will lift you up. You'll soar above the storms, run through the challenges, and walk steadily through the valleys without fainting. Trusting God in these moments means surrendering your exhaustion and limitations to him. It's admitting, "I can't do this alone," and letting his power flow through you. You weren't created to crawl through life weighed down by burdens. You were made to soar like an eagle, to run with endurance, to walk with unwavering faith. God sees your weariness, and he's ready to renew you. Not just to survive, but to thrive. Where are you feeling drained today? What dream, trial, or burden is sapping your strength? Lift it to God, the one who never grows weary. You were designed to rise, to run, to endure. Trusting God to renew your strength, to lift you on eagle's wings, and to carry you through every step of this journey. You're not alone. He's got you, and he's not letting go. Take a moment to identify one area where you feel weary or overwhelmed. Write down Isaiah 40:31 and personalize it. When I wait on the Lord, He will renew my strength. For name your situation. Pray this verse daily, asking God to fill you with His strength. Then take one small action this week, whether it's resting in His presence, seeking support, or pushing forward in faith to move towards soaring again. You've stepped out in courage, trusted actively, silenced doubts, and leaned on God's strength to soar. But as the journey unfolds, there are moments when the path feels lonely, the wait feels long, or the outcome seems uncertain. In these times, trusting God means anchoring your heart in His unchanging faithfulness. It's saying, let's go, not because the road is clear, but because the God who walks with you is faithful. Yesterday, today, and forever. The Bible assures us of this truth in Lamentations 3 verses 22 to 23 says, "Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for His compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness." These words were written by Jeremiah in a season of deep sorrow, as Jerusalem lay in ruins. Yet, even in his pain, he found hope in God's steadfast love and faithfulness. This is the heartbeat of trusting God, knowing that His compassion never runs dry, His promises never falter, and His presence never leaves you. Every morning, His mercies are fresh, ready to carry you through whatever lies ahead. Consider the Israelites wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. They faced hunger, thirst, and uncertainty, yet God faithfully provided manna, water, and guidance. Their clothes didn't wear out, and their feet didn't swell. God's faithfulness wasn't just in the big miracles, it was in the daily provision, the quiet assurance that He was with them. Or think of Joseph, betrayed, enslaved, and imprisoned, yet God's faithful hand guided him to become a leader in Egypt. His story reminds us that God's faithfulness shines even in the darkest seasons. What does this mean for you? Maybe you're waiting for a breakthrough, a job, a healing, a restored relationship, and the delay feels like God has forgotten you. Perhaps you're walking through a valley where every step tests your faith. God's faithfulness means He sees you. He knows your need, and He is working even when you can't see it. Trusting Him is choosing to believe that His timing is perfect, His plan is good, and His love for you never wavers. Embracing God's faithfulness transforms how you walk the journey. It's the confidence to keep going when the road is rough, to pray when answers seem distant, to hope when circumstances feel hopeless. You're not defined by your struggles. You're defined by the God who is faithful to you. Whether you're standing on a mountaintop or trudging through a desert, His compassions are new every morning, fueling your faith to press on. Where do you need to see God's faithfulness today? What promise are you holding on to? Or what burden are you carrying? Anchor your heart in His great love, which never fails. Let's go, trusting that the God who was faithful to Jeremiah, Joseph, and the Israelites is faithful to you. His mercies are new today. Step forward in that truth and let His faithfulness carry you. 2. Reflect on a time when God showed His faithfulness in your life. An answered prayer, a provision, or a moment of peace in the storm. You're on this wild, faith-fueled journey, leaping into the unknown, wrestling doubts, soaring on God's strength. But now, the path takes a quieter turn. The adrenaline of the first step has faded, and you're left with the steady rhythm of the long haul. The world's noise, bills piling up, deadlines looming, relationships straining, crashes like waves against your heart. In this moment, trusting God means finding His peace. A peace that doesn't just calm the storm, but anchors your soul in its midst. It's whispering, let's go, let's go. Not with a frantic push, but with a deep, unshakable calm that says, I can rest in Him, can rest in Him. The Bible offers a promise, like a lifeline in the chaos. Found in Philippians 4, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. This isn't a polite suggestion. It's a divine invitation to trade your spiraling worries for a peace that defies logic. Picture a fortress under siege, with a steadfast guard standing watch. That's what God's peace does. It shields your heart and mind, keeping anxiety at bay. Think of Jesus in the boat during a raging storm, the book of Mark. Waves crashed, winds howled, and the disciples were gripped by panic, certain they'd drown. Yet Jesus slept, his heart at rest in his Father's sovereignty. When they woke him, he spoke, "A peace, be still." And the storm obeyed. That same Jesus offers you his peace, not a flimsy, fleeting calm, but a fortress-like peace that holds firm no matter what's raging around you. What's your storm right now? Maybe it's the weight of a diagnosis that keeps you up at night, the sting of a fractured friendship, or the pressure of a dream that feels stalled. Perhaps it's the quiet ache of waiting for a job, a spouse, a breakthrough, while the clock ticks louder than God's voice. Paul's words in Philippians 4 verses 6-7 are a battle plan. Don't let anxiety rule you. Instead, bring every worry to God in prayer, with a heart full of gratitude for who He is and what He's done. Thank Him for His faithfulness, even when the answer hasn't come yet. As you do, His peace, beyond human understanding, will wrap around you like a shield, guarding your thoughts from fear and your heart from despair. This peace isn't something you can manufacture. It's not deep breathing or positive thinking. It's a supernatural gift from the God who calms, sees, and steadies souls. Think of Hannah pouring out her anguish to God over her barrenness. She wept, she prayed, she trusted, and she walked away with a peace that carried her through the waiting. Or consider Paul, writing Philippians from a Roman prison, facing an uncertain future, yet radiating joy and peace because he trusted God's plan. Their stories remind us God's peace isn't dependent on perfect circumstances. It's a gift for the messy, the broken, the waiting, fighting. Resting in God's peace means choosing to trust Him when the world screams chaos. It's pausing in the middle of a hectic day to pray, "Lord, I give you this worry." It's thanking Him for His past faithfulness. Maybe that time He provided when you had nothing, or carried you through a loss, knowing He'll do it again. It's the courage to keep walking toward your calling, even when the path feels shaky, because you know the Prince of Peace is by your side. You weren't made to be tossed by every wave of worry. You were created to stand firm, to rest deeply, to move forward with a heart guarded by God's transcendent peace. Imagine this. You're carrying a backpack stuffed with anxieties, bills, fears, what ifs. Each one feels heavier than the last. Now picture handing that backpack to God, one worry at a time. As you do, you feel lighter, stronger, ready to walk with a steady heart. Frees you to keep going, not with fear, but with faith. Whether you're in a season of waiting, battling, or building, God's peace is your anchor, your refuge, your strength to say, "Let's go," with calm assurance. What's stealing your peace today? Stop right now and name it. Those fears, those pressures, those unanswered questions. Hand them to God in prayer, thanking Him for His unchanging love. Let His peace, like a mighty fortress, guard your heart. Let's go, not with a frantic heart, but with the quiet strength of a soul, resting in the God who calms every storm. You're not just surviving, you're thriving in His unshakable peace. ready for whatever comes next. You've got to step out in faith, silence the what-ifs, soared on God's strength, and found peace in the storm. But there are days when the journey feels like a climb up a jagged mountain. Each step tests your resolve, and the summit seems shrouded in clouds. Distractions pull at you, setbacks sting, and the temptation to turn back whispers, and this is too hard. Yet, trusting God means locking eyes on His purpose for your life, pressing forward with a fire in your heart that says, let's go, because the God who called you hasn't changed His mind. His purpose for you is worth every ounce of perseverance. The Bible anchors us in this truth with Romans 8, verses 28 saying, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." This verse is a beacon in the fog of life's challenges. God isn't just with you, He's weaving every moment, every struggle, every victory into a tapestry of His purpose for your life. All things doesn't mean everything feels good, but that God is working it for good. Think of Joseph, sold into slavery, falsely accused and imprisoned. Genesis 37:50. Years of hardship could have broken him, but he clung to God's purpose. When he rose to power in Egypt, he told his brothers, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." His perseverance wasn't just survival, it was a testimony to God's faithful plan. What does this look like for you? Maybe you're grinding through a season where your dream, a business, a ministry, a family, feels stalled by obstacles. Perhaps you're facing rejection, financial strain, or criticism that makes you question if you heard God right. Or maybe you're simply tired, wondering if your efforts matter. Romans 8:28 is your reminder. God's purpose is bigger than your setbacks. He called you to this path, and He's not done with you yet. Every struggle is a thread in His masterpiece, shaping you for a story only you can live. Persevering with God's purpose means refusing to let distractions or discouragement derail you. It's waking up each day, even when you feel battered, and choosing to trust that God is working. Picture a runner in a marathon, legs burning, crowd fading, but the finish line calling. That's you, running the race God set before you. Think of Esther, a young woman thrust into a dangerous role as queen. She could have shrunk back, but she persevered, trusting God's purpose to save her people. Her courage changed history. Your perseverance, too, is writing a story that echoes beyond what you can see. This isn't about mustering your own strength. It's about trusting God's purpose enough to keep moving. It's praying through the doubts, working through the delays, and holding fast to the truth that God's plan is good, even when it's hard. Maybe you're a student struggling through studies, a parent pouring into a wayward child, or a leader facing opposition. Each step you take in faith declares that God's purpose is worth it. You're not just chasing a goal. You're living a calling, a divine assignment that God crafted before you were born. Ephesians 2 verses 10. Imagine standing at a crossroads, the world urging you to take the easy path, to give up on the dream, to settle for less. Now picture God's voice, steady and sure. I called you for this. Keep going. That's the fire of His purpose burning in you. It's the strength to push through one more day, to pray one more prayer, take one more step. You were made for this, not to quit, but to persevere, to shine, to fulfill the unique purpose God has written on your heart. What's threatening to pull you off course today? Name the setback, the doubt, or the distraction, and remind yourself, God's purpose is bigger. You're not running aimlessly, you're running for Him. Let's go, pressing forward with unwavering trust. knowing that every step is part of his good plan. You're not just persevering, you're building a legacy of faith that will outlast the struggle. Reflect on a moment when you felt God's purpose for your life, even faintly. Pray over it, asking God to renew your focus on his purpose. This week, take one intentional action, big or small, that aligns with his calling for you, trusting he's working it all for good. You're deep in the journey now, leaping into faith, pushing past doubts, soaring on God's strength, and clinging to his purpose through every twist and turn. But sometimes, the hardest part is the waiting. The moments when you've done all you can, prayed all you know, and still the door hasn't opened, the answer hasn't come, or the dream feels stuck in slow motion. Your heart cries, why not now? God, trusting God in these seasons means surrendering to his perfect timing, saying, let's go, not with impatience, but with a deep trust that his clock ticks with purpose and his delays are not denials. In Ecclesiastes 3, the Bible says, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. He has made everything beautiful in its time. These verses should remind us that God's timing is not random, it's intentional, woven into the fabric of his eternal plan. He's not bound by our calendars or rushed by our urgency. Every season, waiting, working, weeping, or winning, has a purpose, and God promises to make it beautiful in his time. Think of Sarah, Abraham's wife, who waited decades for the promised child. At 90, when hope seemed absurd, God fulfilled his promise with Isaac's birth. Her laughter of disbelief turned to joy, proving that God's timing, though mysterious, is always perfect. What's your waiting season? Maybe you're longing for a breakthrough, a job that aligns with your calling, a relationship restored, or a healing that feels overdue. Perhaps you've poured your heart into a vision, a ministry, a creative project, a family, and the silence feels like God's absence. Ecclesiastes 3:11 whispers hope. God is working, even in the pause. His timing isn't just about when things happen. It's about preparing you, shaping circumstances, and aligning details you can't yet see. Surrendering to his timing means trusting that the wait is not wasted. Surrendering to God's timing is active trust. It's praying boldly while resting patiently. It's praising him in the hallway before the door opens. It's choosing to believe that every moment of delay is God's hand crafting beauty in your story. Maybe you're a student waiting for direction, a parent praying for a prodigal, or a dreamer facing closed doors. Each moment you choose to trust his timing, you're saying, God, I believe your plan is worth the wait. You're not just waiting. You're growing, becoming, aligning with his purpose. Let's say you're standing at the edge of a river, eager to cross but seeing no bridge. You could wade in recklessly or turn back in frustration. Instead, you wait, trusting the one who parts waters. That's where you are now, standing in faith, eyes fixed on God, knowing his timing will make a way. The wait may feel heavy, but it's forging resilience, deepening faith, and preparing you for a harvest that will take your breath away. What are you waiting for today? Name the dream, the prayer, the longing that's testing your patience. Lay it before God, trusting that he's making it beautiful in his time. Let's go, not with restless striving, but with surrendered faith, believing that God's timing is perfect. You're not stuck. You're being shaped for a story that will shine his glory. Keep trusting, keep waiting, keep going. His beautiful moment is coming. Together, let's embrace courage, trust actively, overcome doubts, and lean on God's strength. If this video stirred something in you, please leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Stay strong in faith, brothers and sisters, and see you in the next video.